2020, the year that ended in March, and now it's December. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I haven't been around for a little bit and I haven't been reading for a little bit, and I actually have a good reason for this. For the whole month of November I took part in NaNoWriMo or NaNoWriMo or NaNoWriMo, whatever you want to call it. Essentially a month-long writing challenge in which you write 1,667 words every single day for a month to give you a 50,000 word manuscript by the end. I did a variation on it, but it meant I was writing for hours every single day, and I had to make some sacrifices in order to be able to do that. But I did manage to write 83,000 words in the month of November, which I was very pleased about. I did read two things in November, one of which was Dodie Clark's memoir. Oh wow, that brightness. That brightness though. You cannot see that cover. Never mind. I reread Dodie Clark's memoir, Secrets for the Mad, just because I felt like it one morning, and it was nice. And the other thing I read was All the Bad Apples by Moira Fowley Doyle, which I'm not even going to show you because I got rid of it immediately. It was really disappointing. If you want to find out my thoughts on it, I wrote a pretty lengthy review on Storygraph, but as usual, that's linked below, and please, just don't read it, it's so not good. Anyway, because of my month of not reading, I now have a fairly large amount of books that I still want to read before the beginning of 2021, our star on the horizon, the beginning of life as we know it once more, and so I thought I would just run you through the books I would like to read before the end of the year. Now, of course, this isn't taking into account the fact that there is Christmas this month, and also my birthday. My birthday is on December the 30th, and every single year I normally have a very large pile of books that I ask for, so of course my to-read pile is gonna get extended quite significantly by the end of this month, so these are the things that I would like to read, but I am not expecting to read all of them. The first book on this list, which I already began reading as of yesterday, is this, if you can see it at all. There you go, you can just about see it now. It is Adrian Mole, The Prostrate Years by Sue Townsend. Now, this is a strange one because it is a kind of classic within England, within my family. The Adrian Mole series, if you are unfamiliar, is a series of books that was written in, I think, around the 1980s, 1990s, about a boy named Adrian Mole who is from a working class family, who believes himself to be an intellectual, who wants to be a writer, and he keeps a diary of what his life is like in this working class family who think he's a bit of a dick. And it's just really, really funny. It's also kind of a time capsule in that way of how Britain was in the 80s and 90s and now the noughties, because this is the final book, and it is talking about his life in his 40s, where he is on his second wife and his third child. He's living in a converted pigsty next door to his ageing mother and father. His wife doesn't really like him anymore, he's miserable, and the title, Prostrate Years, is due to his struggles with prostate cancer and no one being able to actually say the correct term. I'm a little way into that. I think I'm about 100 pages into it so far. So far it's entertaining, and it should be a fairly easy one to get through because it is very, very short diary entries as time goes on, and they're really, really funny. So I may well end up doing a video about Adrian Mole and the series by the end of the year, because I read the previous 7 books during the year and this is the final one. I hadn't read books 5 to 8 before, but I had read 1 to 4 previously, so it's been interesting. The next book that I want to read before the end of the year is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, which I feel like I don't need to explain it. It's a classic. I know what it's about and I haven't even read the blurb or anything. This was a birthday present last year from my good friend Millie, love you Millie, and it has been waiting for me to decide that I'm ready to tackle sort of a classic in that way, and given my 19th birthday is coming up and this was an 18th birthday present, I kind of feel like I have to read it in order to say goodbye to my 18th year of life, because wasn't that one a joy? I obviously know that it's a classic, that it is one of the books that is very, very well regarded. I'm vaguely familiar with what goes on and the plot, and I think I'm ready for it. I think this is the kind of book that I will be able to tackle at this time of year and at this point in my life, so I'm looking forward to it. And the final new book that I would like to read, ignoring all the new ones I'm going to get on my birthday and at Christmas, is A Strange Kind of Brave by Sarah Moore Fitzgerald. Again, lighting balance. We're just gonna... You know what you get when you come here. It's not the best quality. Anyway, if you know me, if you've watched a couple of my videos, one of my favourite books ever is The Apple Tart of Hope by Sarah Moore Fitzgerald, and A Strange Kind of Brave is her newest release, and she is one of the authors whose books I pretty much always buy just by default because I know that she is an author I love. This is more middle grade than young adult fiction. I know that I'll enjoy it because it's Sarah Moore Fitzgerald, and really it's just that I'm like, why has it sat on my to-read pile for so long? Gonna get through this one by the end of the year just so that I don't have an unread Sarah Moore Fitzgerald book waiting on my stack. But as I said, I love her writing generally, I love her characters generally, I love her stories generally, so I'm expecting to thoroughly enjoy it. And yeah, I have no qualms about getting to it at some point, and it's really, really short. Her books are normally 200, 250 pages at most, so it'll be a nice easy one to get through during the Christmas period. And now we come to the few rereads that I want to do, and to begin this I am going to reread A Face Like Glass by Frances Hardinge. This one came back into my mind because I was watching a video by Galactic Reads, Liz Galactic Reads, and in her small booktuber tag video she talked about wanting to write sort of gothic, darker, middle grade or young adult fiction and being unsure of the boundaries with how dark you can go with those kind of books. And so I popped a comment below saying, hey, check out Frances Hardinge, she writes super duper creepy, gothic, middle grade children's fiction, and I think she gets it absolutely bang on. And so I recommended to Liz A Face Like Glass, and she replied to my comment, so thank you Liz for that. But it then came back into my mind, and I've only read it once, and I read it a good number of years ago now, because it is a thick book. Thick with two C's. Why am I like this? Yes, it is very nearly 500 pages long, but I remember the first time I read it was about this time of year when I was maybe 14 or 15, that sort of age, and I would like to return to it because it is the perfect kind of creepy, spooky book to be reading by the fire on a dark evening, and so I think I would like to return to it. I know I adore it, it is my favourite Frances Hardinge book, even though I've only read it once, but yes. And the final book on my list, the final reread on my list, the final thing I would like to get to again in December is Loveless by Alice Oseman. I want to reread it again before the end of the year. If you saw my video of me crying and being incredibly emotional about this book and what it means to me as an Arrow Ace spec person and just all the wonderful things that this book does, I need it again in my life before the end of the year, and it just means a lot to me, you know. So I'm not sure when I will get to this one, if I will get to it, but I would just like to reread it again once this year so I've got it fresher in my mind. I also want to take the opportunity to go back through it and do some underlining, some tabbing of passages that I really enjoyed, because I'm not the kind of person who tends to flag things in books. I don't put sticky notes in, I never use pens or pencils in my books, but Loveless was just that special of a book where I feel the need to have marked out my favourite points in it and the most important things it says, because it's in my heart. I don't think it will ever leave my heart, and I would just like to have its magic back in my life once more before the end of 2020. Those are 5 of the books I would like to get through before the end of this year. Of course, as I said at the beginning, I don't know how many of these I will get through, if I will get through them all, and of course I may end up substituting them for new books that I receive at my birthday, at Christmas, yada yada, but those are my plans. I will share my thoughts on them if I think it is worth sharing them. If you are interested in just finding out if I get through them, follow me on Storygraph. And I think that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my loose reading plans for December. If you did like this video, please give it a like. Comment down below what your reading plans are for December. Do you have any seasonal things that you're going to be reading? I don't really have any Christmassy books, but let me know if you are excited about anything, and let me know what you're excited about for 2021, because oh my god, thank god 2020 is ending, but also how much better can it really get just with the turn of a new calendar year? That's too existential for this. I'm ending it here. Subscribe if you want more of my bookish content, and I will see you next time. I reread Dodie Clark's memoir, Secret. I'm really good at the talking on camera. This is what a month of not filming does to you. Oh wow, you really... I messed up these brightness settings. Let's do a little bit of a... Oh, that shadow. Oh, that's not good. It's on my phone. I film on my phone. This is why it sucks.